Welcome back to the second episode of the Fantasy Variation. I, as always, am Tommy Fuller, joined by Colin Street. Colin, how are you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Doing well, man. Doing well. We got 2 days till the football season starts, so in good spirits.
Exactly. Been a long time coming. Only, like you said, 2 days out, 5 days from the big Sunday. I, for one, am definitely excited to hear 7 hours of commercial-free football starts now. That's what's keeping me going this week.
There we go. There we go. I didn't ask how you're doing. I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Basically the same mindset. Football's coming. I have nothing to complain about.
Very good. Very good.
All right. So this episode will be a lot more like what we'll do on a week-to-week basis. So usually we'll lead us off with recapping our games from the previous week in the Shovel Mitch League. Obviously, we haven't had games this past week, so we'll go ahead and skip over that one this week, but we'll pick that up next week. After that, we'll do a little bit of love and hate. We each have three-ish people that we picked out that we either like or dislike compared to ESPN's weekly rankings. So we'll call out kind of the people that we're more focused on compared to what the quote-unquote experts think. After that, we will go into a start-sit segment where Colin's put together a little list of starts and sits that I think you said are from around some of the leagues you're in. So we'll look at some of those and we'll give our opinions on which of those we should start versus sit. And along with that, we'll keep a record throughout the season as well of how we do on those start and sits. So hopefully we're both above 50%, means we're picking some good starts compared to sits, but we'll have a record to make sure we're doing well in that department.
After that, let me correct you there. It was actually our subscribers that submitted some picks, what our opinions on their lineups for their start sets. So we're here for the people.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I should have made sure I knew that was for our fans and followers. So thank you to all you guys out there that submitted your submissions this week. After we do our starts and sits, we'll move into the trivia section where I will be taking on whatever trivia question Colin has prepared. And then to wrap up today, we will, as always, have our best bets for the upcoming week of the season, which this week will be week 1, where we both have a game bet as well as a player prop bet to share with everyone. And that we hope you tell along with as well. Colin, I guess anything you want to add before we jump into love and hate?
Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, if you wanna kick us off with your first love or your first hate, go for it.
Yep. I actually, with football being back, I decided to be in a good mood this week, and I picked only loves from off the list.
Ooh, there we go.
So I was in a loving mood, and my first love of the week, who is a running back who happens to be on my team as well in Shovel Mitch, that's Raheem Mostert, playing against the Jaguars this week. Funny enough, I actually don't have him starting right now because I have 4 pretty good wide receivers. I don't think I have room for him in a flex, so I'm not super happy with him still being on the bench, even though I think it'll stay that way. But on ESPN's rankings, he's ranked as the number 30 running back, which I want to say he was going somewhere around there in drafts. And I feel like that discount probably had a lot to do with his injury history and being, I believe, 32 years old. But I feel like in week 1 with a matchup that should be fairly high scoring, I feel like Raheem Mostert, if you drafted him, this is definitely one of the weeks you want him in. He's going to be healthy. Should be a high-scoring game, and I feel like 30 is just really, really too low for him. I see a lot of running backs on bad offenses that I know just don't have the ceiling that Raheem Mostert has on the Dolphins. So I really like him this week. I thought being basically the bottom of the RB3 range was pretty disrespectful for him in his opening matchup this week.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually did not even see him all the way down at 30. That's pretty insane to me. So love that pick. I guess we'll change up the mood here. I'm gonna start off with a hate. Sorry to take away from the loving mood, but I'm gonna go with Kyren Williams at 10. This is simply put, I don't trust him whatsoever. I don't know what they're doing with the offense. If we remember last year, Mr. Cam Akers was a top 3 draft pick, maybe top 4 draft pick, and the Rams come out and barely hand him the ball off. I don't know what McVay's doing with him as a punt returner. I do not trust him. 10 seems way too high. Am I taking him out of lineups? I don't know. I don't have him on any team, but being on the love-hate list love at 10 just seems way too high to me. So I'm taking him out for that reason only.
Gotcha. I hear what you're saying. I think I don't know where exactly I'd have Kyren this week. I really like him, though. I wouldn't say to take him out of lineups, I guess, because the Detroit Lions actually have a really good run defense, but I expect this game to be very high scoring. So I feel like there's probably a good chance he can get in the end zone maybe a time or two. But that's really the only reason. I just think there's going to be a lot of points, and I'd want people playing in this game, I guess, as much as possible.
Definitely. I agree with you there. Yeah, I don't know. 10 just seems too high to me. I don't trust him, but we'll see moving forward.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got a guest in the room that's taking a video of me, so got a little distracted. But
fair enough. Well, yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. And I mean, even like you said, if it's a hate at 10, that doesn't mean they're not necessarily like starter worthy. Just means they're going to finish necessarily that high.
Yep.
I guess moving on to my second one, I guess also a love, like I said, moving over to wide receiver. I love Christian Kirk this week against the Dolphins. I want to say he was ranked at 36 was where he was at in ESPN's ranking. So wide receiver 4, I guess, in a 10-man league. I think, once again, if you drafted Christian Kirk, this is definitely going to be a spot to do it. His main competition for targets is obviously a rookie in Brian Thomas, which you're not going to expect a rookie to be coming out of the gate firing a lot of times. Maybe a guy like Marvin Harrison, who you already know is going to have a big role in such a widely regarded prospect. But even if you like Brian Thomas, which I do as well, I would think it'd be the later part of the year he comes on. And then just from a matchup perspective against the Dolphins, we know the Dolphins, like we said, are going to put up a lot of points. I probably just want people that are going to be playing in this game in general. So if the Jaguars are going to have to keep pace with that high-powered offense, I really like Christian Kirk to come down with a lot of receptions and receiving yards this weekend.
Absolutely. Love it. Where'd you say he was at again?
36 is what I had written down. I almost want to look at it because, 36.
Man, yeah, that definitely seems too low. Love the pick again. Starting off hot with your loves. Well, I'll keep it.
You're in the loving mood for my picks, at least.
Yeah.
No,
well, I'll keep the love strong and give you a love. What was it? Oh, wait. So I guess I don't know how I say this. Cooper Kupp. He's at 15. I love him to be way higher than that. Am I speaking right? I hate where he's ranked. I think he should be way higher. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I was looking at it. So Puka's at 7. I don't know. I see Cooper Kupp and Puka as almost the exact same. Overall this year, I've kind of been really high on Cooper. He was going way too late in drafts. Just 15 seems low. I expect this Lions-Rams team to be pretty high scoring. I think the total's at 51. One of the higher totals of the start of or week 1, I guess. And yeah, I just don't see him. I see him as a top 10 wide receiver this week. Back to old Cooper Kupp, and think he's just too low at 15.
I love that one too. I don't know if I was looking at anyone that high. I feel like I was looking a lot lower on the list, I guess, when I was filling out mine. So I didn't even really ever consider him. But I feel like it's the same thing as Mostert. Like during the draft, I feel like a lot of his discount had to do with his injury. So going into week 1 where him and Puka are both healthy, like you said, I would rank them side by side wherever I put them if I were making rankings for receivers this week.
Definitely.
And to go back to the Lions too, I mean, it's probably just a game that you want a lot of players that are playing in it for that Lions-Rams game. So I love that pick.
Yep, I agree, except for Kyren Williams, of course.
Of course. Okay, and I guess moving on to my last pick, which I guess was kind of like a 2-for-1, like crappy tight end kind of pick, just trying to pick out 2 guys that might have a good week if you're someone who is in a deeper league like the 16-man one I'm about to draft in tonight, and you might need a tight end to start this week. I really like Colby Parkinson once again on the Rams playing the Lions this week. He's ranked at 20. And then also Taysom Hill, I think, could be a sneaky one for the Saints. They're playing Carolina this weekend. I saw, I guess for Parkinson real quick, he's playing that Lions-Rams game, and I think he could score a touchdown or 2, maybe not 2. But getting just 1 touchdown is already going to blow his projection out of the park. So I really like him just from that perspective of he might catch a touchdown. And then Taysom Hill kind of in the same boat, but more if he might run for a touchdown, something like that. I saw Kamara was all the way up at 8. I didn't want to go in and say that I hated him being that high because I get it. They're playing the Panthers. But I think Taysom Hill could be a huge beneficiary of playing such a crappy team as well. The Saints should be in a position to score a lot, which they might not be a lot of the year. And I feel like I saw a lot of stuff this offseason saying Taysom Hill was taking like first team reps, like inside the 5 and stuff like that. So I feel like if there's going to be a guy that gets a lot of boost from being in a game where they're going to score a lot, I feel like for the Saints, it's definitely him that should be getting that big boost.
That's a really good call out. And I've been on the fence with Taysom Hill this year. Like you said, you've seen a lot like with him being on first team offense in the on the 5 yard line. I have no clue what to expect out of him. I mean, we've seen glimpses in the past, but like yeah, like you're getting a tight end that might play quarterback, might play running back, might play wide receiver. Who knows what he's going to play? But especially being in that red zone, yeah, man, who knows? I love that, and I think relating it to our league, I think Zach just picked him up. Could be a great play. Who knows? I'm not definitely not starting him anytime soon, but 3 weeks from now he might be getting scoring touchdowns left and right. So who knows? Love the pick.
Yeah, I saw Zach picked him up. I was like, I never would have picked him up, I guess, because I have McBride and Ferguson, but I was like, that's a good pickup. I'm probably going to be targeting him tonight if I don't end up getting a tight end early on. So
Definitely, definitely. Well, I will close this out with a hate, and it's gonna be a bold one, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. We got Lamar Jackson at number 3. I don't know. I've got a weird feeling this is gonna be the first game of the season. I feel like it might be on the lower scoring side. I don't know why. Kansas City has a good pass defense. Their run defense was middle of the pack last year. I think their defense in general is kind of underrated. But I don't know. I can see them getting their new workhorse a lot of touches, getting him in the end zone a couple times with Derrick Henry. And I don't know. I just saw guys below Lamar that had better matchups, in my opinion. Like I think it was like Jordan Love, maybe Kyler Murray, that were like 8-9 range. And I would rank them higher than Lamar this week. Again, I'm not saying Lamar is going to crap the bed. He's probably going to score 20 fantasy points plus, but I don't know. 3 was too high for me. I'd put him in like the 6-7 ish range. I don't know. It's bold, but we'll see.
yeah, I like that one. I think I kind of stay away from quarterbacks. I feel like those are always kind of weird to put the rankings together, but I definitely like the analysis you have on Lamar. I was that them against the Chiefs where they scored 0 in the second half, like in the playoffs?
It could have been.
I think it
I
was.
don't remember, but yeah.
So, I mean, the Chiefs defense is obviously very good. We definitely see that they have the capability of stopping the Ravens. And like you said, first game of the year in what should be a defensive matchup, I feel like Lamar's upside is probably not going to be what you'd expect in a lot of games going forward. So, yeah, I like that pick as well, and I could definitely see that happening. I mean, obviously, him being outside the top 3 is probably a 50-50 shot, but I could see him finishing closer to QB10 than he does QB3 this for all the things you just said. So
He'll probably start off the game with a 50-yard tutter rushing touchdown, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
We'll
exactly.
Well, very good. Well, we can transition that into our start sits. I think the first one we have was Chris Godwin versus Amari Cooper, submitted by donut63@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you for the question, Donut. I guess I can go ahead and take it off and give my thoughts. So I don't know if you said so. Chris Godwin's playing the Commanders, and then Cooper's playing the Cowboys. I think I'm going with Chris Godwin this week between those two of them. As for Amari Cooper, and I think we actually have a Cowboys Browns player. I just noticed in all of them, which is pretty funny. But in that Browns Cowboys game, I feel like that game could be pretty low scoring. I don't know exactly what the over under is on it. But both of them's having good defenses and us being in week 1. I could definitely see that just being a lower scoring affair. You probably don't want a whole lot of pieces of people playing in that game. I guess, spoiler alert, I didn't pick against the Cowboy or Brown in all of them. So I didn't stay away from this game completely. But I also just like Chris Godwin playing against the Commanders. Their defense is very, very bad, which I guess one side of the coin is that, they might not have to throw the ball a whole lot if they're beating the Commanders pretty bad. And I get that, but I also just kind of want the guys. Godwin really could put up a whole plethora of points in the first half if the Commanders' defense is still as bad as we think. So that's why I went with Chris Godwin.
For those exact same reasons, I also took Chris Godwin. Little concerned we're going to take the same players here, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Amari Cooper, you can make the argument that they'll be losing to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are a little bit better than the Browns, but their defense isn't terrible. the secondary at least. And yeah, Godwin's playing a horrible Washington team. Like their defense, I'm pretty sure was like dead last year in terms of like passing yards or receiving yards giving up. So yeah, I'm sticking with Godwin. What was my other point? I don't know. We'll go to the next one now. We both got Chris Godwin there. But we'll go on to Jaylen Warren and Jerome Ford. So I can start this one off. Jaylen Warren's playing the Atlanta Falcons, and Jerome Ford is playing the Cowboys, like we said. I kind of went with, in my opinion, the safer play here, which I think is Jerome Ford. I think this game, like we kind of mentioned, will be low scoring, might be a little slower. The Browns are going to run the ball. With Nick Chubb being out, it's Jerome Ford's backfield, and I mean he's going to get his touches. Jaylen Warren, a guy I'm super high on, just I think is a little bit riskier just because there's been a decent amount of hype about Najee. I don't know what it is. I don't see it, but I think Ford is the safer play, so I'm going with him.
Yep, I actually have Jerome Ford as well. Like I said, I'm not really super high on having a bunch of people in this game, but Jerome Ford shouldn't really have any competition for touches this game, and you really just got to kind of hope for a touchdown, too, if you're lucky, which, I mean, could happen. The Cowboys defense just obviously we know is very good. And the one other reason that I'm concerned with Jaylen Warren is just him coming off an injury as well. We don't really know exactly what his workload is going to be week one, especially when, Arthur Smith's calling the plays and he's kind of all over the place with his personnel usage. I know he knows how to coach a team that can run the football well, but you don't really know who's going to be getting that ball, especially when that person's coming off an injury. So I would stay away from Jaylen Warren this week, but rest of season, and even with a bad matchup this week too, we didn't really talk about Atlanta very much, but not a great matchup for him either. So hopefully Warren will be more playable in future weeks, but I'm probably not starting him against really anybody. I wouldn't think that you'd be considering.
Absolutely. Yeah. And good point. I forgot he was coming off an injury, but like you said, moving forward, guy I really like, and we'll probably be seeing him in some lineups here later in the season. Mm-hmm. Well, lastly, we'll go with Ezekiel Elliott against the Browns. Surprise. And then Zach Moss against the Patriots. Who do you like here?
I thought this one was probably the toughest one. I feel like both the running backs are in pretty similar situations. You don't know exactly who's going to be getting the ball out of the backfield, especially for like valuable touches around the goal line and receiving. You don't really know who's going to be getting what. And then also I feel like both the games are not really ones that I want to be having a lot of pieces of. Obviously, Cincinnati's a great offense that Zach Moss is on, but I think Jamar Chase being out might hurt him just because they're not going to be able to move the ball as well if he doesn't play. But with that being said, I still went with Zach Moss. It really just came down to who do I think has potential to put up more points, like what offense, and I settled with the Bengals offense against the Patriots rather than the Cowboys against the Browns was really all it came down to. I don't really love either of them necessarily this week, but I'm sure someone in my 16-man league will be lucky if this is the worst start sit that they have to deal with this week. So
definitely.
I'm going Moss, long story short.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, so I was looking at it. Patriots actually had a surprisingly good run defense last year. But I am with you. I went Zach Moss. I think the Bengals blow him out, and Zach Moss is going to be getting his carries. I don't know what Chase Brown will get. I don't know if they're going to be splitting 50-50. But I don't care too much. Zeke's got, oh shoot, I'm blanking on his backup's name. Rico? Is that
Rico?
Yeah. They might be splitting too, but the Browns run defense is really good. And yeah, I see the Bengals routing the Patriots and getting the job done. So maybe moving forward, we'll send some start sits earlier, and maybe we'll get differentiating opinions on it moving forward. But it's week one, so we're work in progress.
Yeah, we're trying to work together and also make sure the other person doesn't feel too bad if they fall behind week one. So
there we go. Well, awesome. Well, we can go ahead and get to your trivia question. Perfect. So this week I got a general fantasy one that I think I kind of expect you to do pretty well in. We may have even asked this one a couple weeks ago when we were together, but we're going to focus on 2020 And we're going to say who were the top 10 guys that led the league in rushing yards, focusing on rushing 2020. And I do have the teams that they were on if you need hints.
Okay. I guess right away when I think of 2020, I always think of the Alvin Kamara touchdown. So I'm assuming he's going to be on there.
Alvin Kamara is number 14. He did not make the list for
Wow.
rushing yards.
I know he's not much of a rusher, but I still expected him to be on there. That's for sure.
I was surprised by that too. If I had to guess, I mean, he was probably that year when he went off, he was probably getting like 7 catches a game that made his fantasy scores go up. But yeah, rushing yards, he was 14th.
That is very surprising. I didn't think he'd be like top 5 maybe. I thought for sure he was on there after a healthy season.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess Nick Chubb probably.
Nick Chubb, number 7.
All right. I feel like I got a weird one. I always got to shout out my guy, Chris Carson.
Chris Carson did not make the top 10.
Dang,
He
that's
didn't make
unfortunate.
the top 20 either.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised about that one. All right.
Yes, sir.
Dalvin Cook,
Dalvin Cook, number 2.
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon did not make the top 10 or top 20.
Wow. Maybe he was hurt. I don't know exactly what years he got hurt in.
Yeah,
but
maybe 2020 was too early.
yeah, like I know McCaffrey got hurt that year, so he shouldn't be there, right?
You're right. You are correct.
Man, I just had someone on the tip of my tongue and now I forgot. Oh, Leonard Fournette. Is he on there?
Leonard Fournette is not on there, but there is a Jacksonville running back on here.
Oh, it's James Robinson.
James Robinson at number 6. That was probably the second hardest, third hardest maybe on this list.
Dude, I feel like it's harder to think back than I thought, like on what players were around. Like, man, is Kerryon Johnson like a weird guess? Like, I know he was getting drafted pretty highly, like around then.
That's not a bad guess. He is not there.
I know that might be the wrong time frame. I know that was Jonathan Taylor's first year. Did he get to 1,000?
He was number 3.
Or top 3, I mean. Man,
He did.
so he definitely did 1,000. I didn't remember him having that good of a year his rookie year, but I know Marlon Mack, he tore his Achilles right before the season started. So, man. Well, I don't think any other rookies would probably be on there. It's like CEH and DeAndre Swift, like J.K. Dobbins. Like, there's no way they made it on there. Oh, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, number 4.
Man, I'm still missing number 1, aren't I?
You're gonna kick yourself when you hear it.
I know. I'm trying to think back to that first round, and I feel like I'm just not. Oh, Saquon, or was he hurt?
Saquon not here. He's not in the top 20. I'm trying to remember was that his first year, or was he hurt?
First year was, I want to say 2018 was his first year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It must have been his ACL year or something. He missed a lot of time. Man, I'm going to be mad at myself. Oh, is Najee one of them?
Najee.
Najee was drafted a year after that.
Mm-hmm.
He had that big rookie year. Man, yeah, I guess maybe I'll need some teams as hints.
Yeah,
I don't want to just go through like every single team in my head. I feel like it's going to be wasting too much time.
Let's go with which one will be the most difficult. Let's go Denver. This guy's number 10.
Oh, number 10 on the list. I thought you were talking about like where's number 10. I was like,
no, I don't know what number he wears. He could wear 10, but I doubt it. He's number 10 on the list. Denver running back.
Yeah, so that was the year before Javonte Williams. So that's really weird. Like, who would have been running for them?
I can give another hint if you need it.
Yeah, maybe.
He was a Heisman candidate, and Ohio State made him very sad the year before.
Ohio State made him.
Wait, not the year before. Whenever he was in college.
Whenever he was in college.
He's a Heisman candidate, and Ohio State made him sad.
That just makes me think of Saquon Barkley. I already know that's wrong.
Let's see. If I give his college, I might give away. He went to Wisconsin. We'll give it to you. See if you know that.
Oh, is Melvin Gordon on that list?
Melvin
What?
Gordon,
What?
number 10.
He did cross my mind, but I thought that was like way after his.
Number 10.
Didn't
All
take
right, we'll
promise.
make it a little easier. We got Oakland at number 8. The Raiders.
Oh, Josh Jacobs. Yeah. that
Josh
should be-
Jacobs. We'll go number 9, Baltimore. 2020 season.
It's not J.K. Dobbins, right?
It is not J.K. Dobbins. He was number 18.
Oh,
Don't
is it
think-
Mark Ingram?
No, it's not.
Oh my gosh.
Don't think too hard.
Oh, it's Lamar.
It's Lamar.
Oh
It's
my
Lamar.
gosh.
I was
Yeah.
very
That never
surprised.
crossed my mind.
Very
That's a
surprised.
good that's a good one. Yeah. I never even
Yep.
thought about that.
All right. Do you want number 1 or number 5? There's the 2 left.
I guess number 5,
Chicago.
Chicago. I mean,
You got this one.
is this Jordan Howard?
Nope.
That's too early then. Is this like it's Dave Montgomery.
David Montgomery. Sure. All right. Number 1. You still don't know it?
I feel like I haven't thought of anyone like insanely obvious. Like Christian McCaffrey came to mind. Like I feel like all the
Right.
running backs nowadays are super young. Like they wouldn't have existed back then.
He
Man.
is still in the league. He is still very good.
Still in the league and still very good. That's not good. Oh, Derrick Henry, duh. Yeah.
Derrick
He probably had
Henry.
2K that year.
Yep. Well, there you go. That is your top 10. Not too bad. Pretty good.
Sweet. Yeah. I should have done a little better. I wanted to go through and just like think of all the teams, but I didn't want to just be like sitting here like
Right.
Titans. Nah.
Hey, we're still getting warmed up for trivia
Exactly.
questions. Yeah.
Exactly. Future ones we're gonna be killing it.
Exactly. Well, very good. Very good. What do we got?
Thank you. Great question. And yeah, I guess all we have left then is our best bets of the week. Do you want to go ahead and kick us off? Game or player prop? I'll follow suit.
Yeah, I will start with my player prop. This is one that I took a decent amount last year, and it's one that I always tend to like on certain games. We're gonna go Josh Allen rushing yards over 31.5. What are my notes here? So last year what did he see? Oh, I don't even know what my note says. Last year I know he hit this line out of 9 out of 17 games. In a lot of those games, he was either at like 14 yards or he just killed this line at like 60. So I don't know. He's got a good matchup against God. I can't even read my notes. Who do the Bills play? Do they play
Cardinals?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Cardinals give up a lot of rushing yards. Their run defense is not great. 31.5 just seems low to me for Allen. So week 1, rocking with that.
Yeah, I like that line. I feel like I'm in on probably any Josh Allen related line because he's gonna have to do so much for this offense. So you said 31.5?
31.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting in on that one. I feel like that's maybe like 5 to 10 rush attempts. I feel like he's definitely running the ball 10 times this weekend. So
Exactly.
yeah, I love that one. Making me a little jealous I didn't find that one, but I will be doing my second favorite player prop I've heard representing my boy here. Amon-Ra St. Brown over 84.5 receiving yards against the Rams. The only stat I have written down and the only one I think you need is that if this were his line in every game last year, he would have cashed it 13 out of 19 times, including the playoffs.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
much better than 50%, and it is minus 114 right now. So
There we go.
get in on that before they move the line.
Yep, I forgot to add. So yeah, Allen's at minus 115 at 31.5 on FanDuel. DraftKings he's at 33.5 and like minus 120. So shout out to FanDuel with the better line.
I've only looked at FanDuel, so I don't know about DraftKings for Amon-Ra St. Brown, but
there we go. No, but I love that. Like we talked about it earlier, we think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Goff's gonna come out slinging it to him. Love the play. I'll be joining you on it.
Sweet. Yeah, I didn't even have to throw in the high scoring game rationale. Just this guy always cashes. He's a dog. Get in on him.
Enough said. Very good. Well, my second one, so game prop. So this is how we're going to do it moving forward. Usually one player prop, one game pick, whether it's a spread or a total. Going with the Bengals -8.5. Simply put, the Patriots suck. I think they're going to blow them out. I think the Patriots will be the worst team in the league this year, and I think Burrow's going to come back slinging it, and they're going to win by a lot. So Bengals 8.5, -115 on FanDuel.
Perfect. I think I honestly looked at that one as well. I think the only reason I was nervous is because of Jamar Chase.
Don't need them.
Obviously that could change before we get there, and like you said, it might not matter because the Patriots are so bad. So yeah, I agree with that one. And then my last one, my game prop is the Buccaneers covering 3.5 points against the Washington Commanders. I thought it was kind of crazy they were only 3.5 because you get 3 points basically for playing at home. So Vegas is basically saying they're the same if they played at a neutral site, which I think is crazy to think that the Buccaneers are the same level as the Commanders, who might be fighting for second worst in the league this year behind the Patriots. So I definitely like the Buccaneers to cover 3.5. It's -102, so you almost even get on the plus side of things there. I think it's a great value taking the Buccaneers to win by more than a field goal.
That's pretty surprising too, actually, with Commanders. I mean, they got a rookie QB. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I'm all over him this year, but I mean, it's going to be his first game of the year. He could throw 5 picks, and I wouldn't be surprised. So
yeah,
love to play. Love to play.
Yeah, and we're all talking about loving Jaden Daniels from like fantasy perspective too. I mean, he could still be great for fantasy and still turn the ball over a lot for them and stuff like that. That could give the opponents like an advantage in real life. So yeah, I was very shocked to see this one. I jumped all over that one for my game pick this week. So hopefully it doesn't blow up in my face because I feel like this one actually is like a lock.
Absolutely. Well, I like it. I'll be joining in on it. But yeah, I guess moving forward, that kind of wraps up our podcast this week. What we'll do, like we said, we'll be keeping track of these units and our record over the year. So we'll have some sort of friendly competition to see who does the best, and hopefully the viewers will be joining in on it. But hopefully we'll make you some money. But yeah, next week we'll kind of have the same format. We'll talk about anything that happened in the NFL season, recap our Shovel Mitch League. Hopefully me and Tommy both come out with a win. Don't expect anything less. And then we'll go over the same kind of format. So keep submitting your start sits, and we will see you next week.